Ladies and gentlemen, seekers of truth and purpose, in a world filled with uncertainty, longing, and silent prayers, there is one desire that unites all souls: the longing to be seen, known, and loved by someone who feels like home. But the journey to that destined connection is not random. It's not coincidence. It's divine orchestration. God, in His infinite wisdom, works behind the scenes through quiet whispers and hidden signs. His plan isn't loud, but it's precise. He doesn't just bring two bodies together, He aligns two souls. The process is not always obvious, but every detour, every delay, and every disappointment carries a deeper meaning. It is in these subtle and spiritual ways that God moves us closer to the person meant to walk life's path with us. Master Shi Heng Yi teaches us to be still, to listen, and to grow, for it is in inner transformation that our outer reality begins to shift. So today, let's explore 7 divine ways God connects you with your soulmate, not through chance but through spiritual growth, testing, timing, and purpose. One of the most profound ways God connects you to your soulmate is not by rushing you into love, but by slowing you down intentionally. In a world that celebrates instant gratification, this can feel frustrating. You may wonder why you're still alone, still waiting, still hoping. But what seems like a delay in your eyes is, in reality, divine development. God knows your heart's deepest desires, but He also sees what still needs to be refined within you. The delay is not a punishment, it's preparation. It's a sacred season where your soul is being shaped to carry the kind of love He wants to give you. He's not just working on your future partner, He's working on you. During this time, you'll be stretched, you'll be tested, you'll be taken through emotional valleys and moments of silence where it feels like nothing is happening. But underneath the surface, your faith is growing, your identity is becoming clearer, and your vision of love is shifting from fantasy to maturity. Delays are the classroom of divine love, where lessons are written in loneliness, where patience becomes your teacher, and where your dependence on God deepens. Consider how a masterpiece takes time. A diamond is formed under pressure. A tree doesn't bear fruit in its first season. It takes roots, sunlight, storms, and time. Similarly, you're not just being made ready for love. You're being transformed into a partner capable of receiving and sustaining the kind of love that is rooted in God's plan. God may delay your love story so that it begins at the right chapter, when your past no longer defines you, when your insecurities have been healed, when your vision is aligned with purpose. And in that divine delay, you find your worth, your strength, and your voice. You discover that the wait wasn't empty, it was sacred. It was where God was rewriting your love story from the inside out. One of the most misunderstood blessings in life is when someone walks away or a relationship ends. It often feels like a setback, like something precious was taken from you. But in reality, when God removes someone from your life, it's not always a loss. Sometimes it's a divine rescue. What looks like rejection is often redirection. What feels like heartbreak may be heaven's protection. God, in His infinite love, knows what lies ahead. He sees the full picture, not just who someone is in the moment, but who they will become, and how their presence will impact your journey. While you may only see the surface, their charm, attention, affection, God sees deeper, their character, intentions, and alignment with your destiny. So when a relationship starts to crumble, or someone suddenly exits your life, it might not be an accident. It could be divine intervention. Before you meet your soulmate, you will encounter people who mirror your brokenness instead of your healing. These relationships may be intense, passionate, even addictive, but they will lack spiritual harmony. They may stir your emotions but drain your spirit. These people are not mistakes, but mirrors. God allows them to enter your life to show you what needs to be healed, where your boundaries must be rebuilt, and how much you are willing to settle for less than you deserve. Think of it like a spiritual detox. These experiences purge the false ideas you held about love, force you to confront your patterns, and awaken you to what real love isn't, so that when the real thing comes, you don't miss it. God clears the path, not to punish you, but to make space for the right person, the one who won't just fit into your life, but will elevate it, the one who brings peace, not confusion, growth, not chaos, clarity, not control. It's easy to cling to what's familiar, but God doesn't call you to comfort, He calls you to purpose, and anyone who distracts, delays, or damages your soul's progress will be removed, even if it hurts. The pain of release is far better than the pain of regret. God's removal is mercy in disguise. It's His way of saying, you deserve more, and I have more in store for you. One of the greatest spiritual truths is this: you attract not what you want, but who you are. This is why God focuses first on healing your inner world before bringing you into union with your soulmate. He knows that if He gives you the right person while you're still carrying the weight of past pain, fear, or insecurity, the relationship could break under the pressure of unresolved wounds. Inner healing is not a suggestion, it is a sacred requirement. Because true love, divine love, cannot flourish in a fractured soul. Many people are longing for someone to fill the void, to fix their brokenness, to complete them. But God doesn't connect broken halves. He unites whole individuals, people who have faced their darkness, healed their trauma, and risen into self-awareness through grace. Healing doesn't happen by accident. It's a spiritual process that God orchestrates through solitude, reflection, and divine encounters. He will allow you to confront the very parts of yourself you tried to hide: the bitterness from past betrayals, the fear of abandonment, the shame from past mistakes, the distrust that's quietly poisoning your ability to open up. These are not flaws to hide, they are wounds to be healed. God doesn't expose you to shame you. He reveals what needs healing so He can restore you. Sometimes this happens through moments of silence, where your soul is stripped of distractions. Other times it happens through tears in the night, when old memories resurface, not to hurt you, but to free you. And often it happens through forgiveness, not just of others, but of yourself. When you begin to heal, you begin to vibrate differently. Your energy changes. You stop tolerating toxic patterns. You begin to choose peace over drama, growth over comfort, truth over illusion. You become less reactive, more discerning, more loving, because you've tasted healing and now know the cost of not protecting your wholeness. And as this healing unfolds, something powerful happens. You begin to attract differently. You stop craving attention and start craving alignment. You stop chasing love and start living in a way that invites it. Your soulmate doesn't just recognize your beauty, they recognize your healing, because they too have walked through the fire and emerged whole. That's why God is more concerned with what's happening within you than what's happening around you. Because when you are healed, you don't settle for chaos disguised as love. You wait not passively, but intentionally. You wait as someone who knows that real love is not found through desperation, but through transformation. Love that is divinely designed isn't rooted only in attraction, it is rooted in purpose. Before God brings you face to face with your soulmate, He often leads you to discover yourself, and most importantly, the reason you were placed on this earth. Why? Because true soulmates don't just fall in love, they walk in alignment. Their connection flows from shared vision, not just shared feelings. We live in a world where relationships are often built on temporary emotion. But God is not building something temporary, He is building something eternal. Your soulmate is not just someone to hold hands with, they are someone who will hold your calling with you. They are not just a romantic partner, they are a spiritual companion who helps amplify your divine assignment. And that kind of bond can only be formed when you're both aligned with your higher purpose. So, before the connection happens, God will guide you into a season where you begin to discover your gifts, your passions, your mission. He'll stir your heart toward things that make you come alive, not for your ego, but for your soul. You might feel an inner shift, a pull towards something bigger than you. That's God calling you out of the crowd, separating you for significance. In this process, you may feel lonely at times. Others may not understand your growth. But that's because your path is not meant to blend in, it's meant to stand out. God is elevating you to a higher level where distractions fall away and clarity takes center stage. You begin to understand that love is not something you chase, it's something you become aligned with through obedience and purpose. As you step into your purpose, something powerful begins to happen. You start to radiate authenticity. You become a beacon for the right person, the one who recognizes your spirit before they even know your name. Your work, your voice, your path all begin to echo in places where your soulmate's spirit is also awakening. And without trying, without forcing, you begin to align. This is why relationships that lack shared purpose often fall apart. Without a deeper mission, love can easily be shaken by the storms of life. But when two people are united not just in emotion, but in calling, they carry each other through those storms with vision and strength. Purpose becomes the anchor that holds them firm. God knows this. That's why He first awakens your identity before introducing you to someone else's. Because a powerful relationship is not made of two needy hearts looking to be filled, it's made of two whole, purpose-driven souls coming together to do what neither could do alone. One of the most sacred and underrated ways God confirms your soulmate connection is not through lightning bolts or loud signs, but through a quiet, steady inner knowing. It's not always dramatic. It doesn't always come with fireworks or butterflies. Instead, it often arrives with an overwhelming sense of peace, the kind of peace that surpasses logic, that calms your spirit even when your mind can't explain it. God's voice is gentle. It whispers. It nudges, and the more spiritually aligned you become, the more clearly you start to recognize those divine whispers through what we call intuition, a form of spiritual intelligence rooted in stillness, discernment, and divine connection. It's not just a gut feeling, it's the language of the soul, guided by the Spirit of God. But this sense of intuition doesn't awaken in a busy or distracted life. It requires presence. It requires silence. It requires listening. So often, people ask for signs, wanting God to shout His will through external circumstances, but true direction is often found in inner clarity. When God is confirming a person in your life, He rarely creates confusion. In fact, confusion is usually a sign to pause and pray, because divine connections are marked by confirmation, not chaos, peace, not pressure, alignment, not anxiety. Intuition also protects you. It may sound like a whisper, a hesitation, a feeling you can't quite name, but it's there to help you discern. That moment when you're with someone and everything seems right on the outside, but something deep inside of you feels off. That's God speaking. He's saying, listen, be still, don't ignore this feeling. And when you're with the right person, your intuition doesn't scream it settles you. But peace doesn't mean the absence of all problems. It doesn't mean the relationship will be perfect. What it does mean is that even in uncertainty, there is a spiritual ease, a divine flow. You don't feel like you're striving. You don't feel like you have to become someone else to be loved. You feel safe, understood, and aligned not just emotionally, but spiritually. Shi Heng Yi speaks often about the importance of cultivating inner awareness, of slowing down enough to truly hear yourself. Because when your spirit is crowded by noise, past trauma, or desperation, You won't be able to distinguish between emotion and revelation. That's why God invites you to inner stillness before He brings your soulmate into view. Because only a quiet heart can hear the truth. Intuition is like a compass. Peace is the confirmation. When they both point in the same direction, you can be sure God is guiding you, not through force, not through fear, but through the soft, unwavering voice of His Spirit, speaking directly into yours. In the divine story of love, timing is not just important, it is everything. We often focus on the who, but God is equally, if not more, focused on the when. You might meet someone who seems like the right person, but at the wrong time, and when the timing isn't divinely aligned, even something that feels right can turn painfully wrong. God is not bound by clocks or calendars. His timeline operates on a higher wisdom, where every delay, detour, and redirection is part of a sacred orchestration. While we may become impatient and try to force love on our own terms, God is patient, eternally patient. Because He knows that rushed love is often unstable, while love that arrives on time is deeply rooted and long-lasting. There's a profound truth many overlook. Even if you and your soulmate exist on this earth at the same time, God may withhold the connection until both of you are ready, not just in age, but in character, emotional maturity, and spiritual depth. You may have crossed paths before and not even recognized each other because your spirits weren't aligned yet. You weren't who you needed to be, and neither were they. Divine timing is not just about circumstances falling into place. It's about people becoming who they were created to be. It's about spiritual readiness. God's plan is not to hand you a relationship that feels good for a season. He wants to give you a partnership that fulfills your purpose for a lifetime. And for that, He waits until both of you have gone through the necessary process, the growing, the healing, the learning, the shedding of false identities. This is why you might go through years of singleness, or why previous relationships didn't work no matter how much effort you gave. You weren't being punished. You were being protected from premature connection. Because a relationship before its divine time can be like picking fruit before it's ripe. It won't taste the way it's meant to. And instead of nourishing you, it may end up leaving you bitter, confused, and spiritually malnourished. Shi Heng Yi often speaks of rhythm, how the universe has its own natural flow, and when we try to move outside of it, we create friction. The same is true in love. When we force connections, chase after people, or manipulate outcomes, we step out of harmony with God's rhythm. But when we surrender to the timing of the Creator, we begin to move in sync with something greater than ourselves. Divine timing also comes with confirmation, with effortless alignment. When it's God's time, you won't have to manipulate, beg, or over-explain. Things will begin to unfold naturally. The right person will arrive, not to complete you, but to walk beside the version of you that God has been preparing all along. You'll look back and realize that every no, every delay, every closed door was actually grace in disguise, because it brought you here to the perfect moment, to the perfect time. When we think of love, especially soulmate love, our minds often go to emotions, the rush of excitement, the butterflies in the stomach, the magnetic pull toward someone who feels familiar. And while emotion is a powerful part of the human experience, it is not the foundation of divine connection. God's confirmation of your soulmate goes beyond feelings, it is found in growth. Why? Because love from God is not only meant to comfort you, it is meant to transform you. Your soulmate isn't just someone who fits your current life. They are someone who challenges your spiritual, emotional, and mental dimensions to expand. They are not here to keep you in your comfort zone, but to lovingly call you into your next level. This is not control or force, it is divine alignment that inspires transformation. The right person will not leave you the same. They will sharpen your character, deepen your faith, and elevate your standards. They won't tolerate your excuses because they see your potential. They won't let you stay stuck in cycles because they care about your growth. And their presence in your life will make you want to become the best version of yourself, not to earn their love, but because their love reflects your value. This is one of the most powerful confirmations of a God-ordained relationship, when you begin to grow in ways you never did before. You may become more consistent in your faith, more disciplined in your habits, more honest in your communication, more accountable to your calling. Not because someone is pushing you in fear, but because they're walking with you in purpose. Emotion alone can be deceiving. You can feel intense chemistry with someone who is completely out of alignment with your destiny. You can fall in love with a fantasy with who you hope someone will become while ignoring who they are in reality. But God doesn't build love on fantasy, He builds it on truth, and the truth is, real love will stretch you, it will reveal your blind spots, it will hold a mirror to your soul, not to shame you, but to help you evolve. Growth-based love is spiritual. It's rooted in accountability, mutual respect, and shared values. It doesn't avoid hard conversations, it welcomes them. It doesn't flee from tension, it grows through it. And it doesn't settle for potential, it activates it. Shi Heng Yi often emphasizes that progress is not found in comfort, but in challenge, in friction that refines, in discipline that shapes. Your soulmate will not just be someone who accepts you, but someone who awakens you. Someone whose presence calls out the strength God placed inside of you. That's how you know it's real. That's how you know it's divine. So, as you journey through this life, through the silence, the setbacks, the healing, and the waiting, remember that God's ways are higher, deeper, and wiser than our understanding. You are not being overlooked. You are not being forgotten. You are being prepared. Every delay is shaping you. Every removal is protecting you. Every moment of healing is renewing you. Every step into purpose is aligning you. Every whisper of peace is guiding you. Every unfolding of time is orchestrated for your growth. And every shift you feel within is part of the divine plan, pulling you closer to the one meant to walk beside your soul. Love, when it is God-ordained, does not come to distract or detour you. It comes to complete the mission, not to complete you. It comes to reflect God's love on earth through the sacred union of two healed, whole, and awakened individuals. So, don't rush what is holy. Don't settle for what's easy, and don't doubt what's unfolding. Trust the mystery, honor the process. And know that when the time is right, when you've grown into the person you were always meant to become, God will align your path with the one who's been walking their own journey of becoming too. And when your eyes finally meet, your souls will already know this is what we were being prepared for.